This is a Hot Pie Media original.
Okay, look, everyone, here's where we are. I'm going to do that thing that people, well, I don't know if you like or don't like. It is what it is. The overly analytical Jeff thing. At a time when it seems as if nobody wants the overly analytical Jeff thing, you'd rather Jeff and everyone else just yell. Let's just yell and not do that analytical thing, please. Well, too bad. Here's where I think we are. And this is just, I'm not overanalyzing this part, just sort of bringing it all back full circle. Here's where I think we are collectively and understandably. 50% of us, 50% of you, are disgusted, frustrated, and creeped out by 25%. Another 25% isn't paying attention and doesn't care. You are 50% of you, or somebody, is frustrated, creeped out by the 25%. We have a COVID problem that's been made far, far, far worse by anti-vaxxers. Anti-vaxxers have super served themselves with misinformation on Facebook. You are creeped out and frustrated by the goons out there who are racist goons, some of whom show up at the United States Capitol on January 6th. You are understandably frustrated and creeped out by those goons. The goons have super served themselves hate on Facebook. You're disgusted, frustrated, and creeped out by the nut jobs who show up at school board meetings, scream at people, and punch them in the face. Those nut jobs have super served themselves hate and misinformation on Facebook. So Facebook has brilliantly or diabolically allowed that 25% that you're creeped out about, that you're frustrated with, that you're angry with, that you can't get them to stop. Facebook has brilliantly super served them, just as has brilliantly super served the 50% and even the 25% that don't care about anything. Facebook has brilliantly served everyone. And you're mad about it. And you're frustrated. And you're disgusted. And you're creeped out. There. That's where I think we are. I don't know the exact numbers that I just used, but I suspect my pie chart is not too far off. That's where we are. That's reality. Now what? We're at a pretty critical point here. And the overly analytical Jeff is slightly frustrated by the ranting and the rage and the inability to acknowledge everything I've just circled up. So if we just acknowledge together, over a cup of coffee, a good glass of wine, that would be a Dow Reserve 2017, then we would acknowledge, okay, that's where we are. Damn it, that's where we are. I suspect, I don't know this for a fact, but a whistleblower, I think she was the leading indicator of what 50% of you or 50% of somebody out there feels right now. And that is, I'm creeped out, I'm frustrated, and I'm disgusted by the 25% that my company brilliantly or diabolically super served, so they would end up doing the nut job things and causing the problems they have. The net result of super serving yourself with a bunch of information, a bunch of misinformation, and a bunch of hate and a bunch of stuff. The byproduct of that is 25% are nut jobs who do terrible things. Now what, America? Now what? 50% of you super serve yourself with a lot of stuff and you don't do terrible things. 25% of you super serve yourself and don't care about much at all. What are we going to do? What now? So we're at this critical point. Analytical Jeff is just sort of sitting on the sidelines, just pointing out, I'm hearing everybody scream and yell, and I've heard people scream and yell for some time, and I've heard this very intelligent, sincere whistleblower tell this exact story that I think is a microcosm of what most normal people feel. The 25% has become a problem. It's an icky, creepy, dangerous problem. Now what? There. Okay, so what are we supposed to do now? If you disagree with me, that's cool. If you think that I'm way off here in this setup, because this is just a setup, because now we got to do something. If you think that I'm crazy in this setup, that's fine too. I'm just trying to fill in the blanks that nobody else seems to really want to fill in right now because we seem to be going in circles. If this were a business class, I would say it feels like we're breathing our own exhaust fumes here, which is a term I like to use. Sorry, but I like it. So now it's going to be unpopular. Everything I've said so far is incredibly unpopular. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants that analytical Jeff right now. You just want to rant, right? You just want to rant. We want to freak out. We want to freak out on the people that are freaking out. Okay? Then what? So the whistleblower that outed herself this week is now, as we speak, this is not something to blow off. You know, we're sort of in real time, real potential legislation, real markets moving, real nut jobs doing what nut jobs do. We got a lot of moving parts here. So she's in front of a Senate committee again as we speak. She was there all day yesterday. She's going to be there a good chunk of today. Both sides of the aisle fill into that setup that I just gave you. One side says those nut jobs, those racist nut job anti-vaxxers, keep going, keep going, keep going. We got to do something about them. Then you've got the other side with an R next to their name that is saying, I need to pounce on this too. I need to pounce on the percentage of the public that's freaked out and creeped out. Oh yeah, look what they've done to our children. So you got that going on today. And even though I don't like to give anybody in politics the benefit of the doubt, because I don't think they deserve it, have never earned it. They are scum by and large. But I'll say I think everyone is sincere. I think this moment in time, let's assume everyone is sincere, and no doubt the whistleblower is sincere, that Facebook has brilliantly or diabolically found a way to super serve you what you like. Nobody really wants to say it that way, but that is precisely what's going on. They have brilliantly super served us exactly what we like. It's just that 25% are screw ups. Now what? All right, so here's how it plays out. And then we've got a pretty fascinating turn of events. So this is Senator Richard Blumenthal, who is chairing this committee. Listen to him. I think everyone should pay attention. Now, that 25% of you that's just gone, you don't care. Okay, you're out. Got it. I do think we ought to listen to him. Let's assume. I'll pretend. I'll do the hard work. I'll do the hard work and say, let's assume he's sincere and he's sort of saying what I've just set up.
We're here today because Facebook has shown us, once again, that it is incapable of holding itself accountable. This month, a whistleblower approached my office to provide information about Facebook and Instagram. Thanks to documents provided by that whistleblower, as well as extensive public reporting by the Wall Street Journal and others, we now have deep insight into Facebook's relentless campaign to recruit and exploit young users. We now know, while Facebook publicly denies that Instagram is deeply harmful for teens, privately, Facebook researchers and experts have been ringing the alarm for years. Substantial evidence suggests that experiences on Instagram and Facebook make body dissatisfaction worse, particularly viewing attractive images of others, viewing filtered images, posting selfies, and viewing content with certain hashtags. That finding was not some disgruntled Facebook employee making a complaint. It was Facebook's own employees making a formal finding based on their research.
Sure. Yes. Right on. Yep. I got a solution, though. Don't think that I'm doing the same thing everyone else is. I'm offering up a solution. I'm offering up a comparison because the cigarette industry comparison is one that seems to be hanging around out there. I've got something better. I've got an answer for you. I've got a comparison and an answer. Because I think we're going to spend the next 60 hours. The stock's already moving up. I told you yesterday it would. But I think we'll spend the next 60 hours doing the same thing. So I'm just going to throw out a solution. I'm going to tell you how this thing can play out if you really want, if that's what you want. But everything he just said is spot on. He's speaking on behalf of that 50% who consider themselves sensible and decent and don't screw things up and don't make things worse and don't hate on people quite so much. All normal people are bothered by our own narcissism and obsession with looks. Facebook, of course, as Richard Blumenthal has pointed out, Facebook gives us easy access to live out our obsession on looks, and that can create problems. Every accusation, every summary is spot on. Notice how we keep going in circles. So this is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm now hearing. I don't know what you're hearing. This is what I'm now hearing. That what I'm hearing is the desire to legislate comes from the comparison to big tobacco. That's where we are now. Look what it did to us. Look how it deceived us. It was so deceptive and sinister, they need to pay, and they did. That's the comparison. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I heard him say. And I think if you listen to another 16 hours, you're going to hear the same thing over and over again. Hey, every guy can relate to this. You're tired of wearing those baggy cotton shirts that feel like you're wearing curtains. There's a difference. In fact, I'm wearing the difference. That is the ultra premium basics from goodlifeclothing.com. You'll love the shirts. I've been searching for a long time, like every guy, for the perfect lightweight shirt that looks good if you're in pretty good shape. It's at goodlifeclothing.com. Check them out. You'll see the difference for yourself. You'll feel the difference for yourself. It's the perfect shirt for this time of year in Austin, Texas. So, two things. Go to goodlifeclothing.com. You get a 20% discount if you enter the promo code JeffWard20. That's goodlifeclothing.com. Enter the promo code JeffWard20 or stop by their store domain Northside. You'll love the difference. You'll feel the difference. It's the perfect fit for a guy that's in good shape. It's goodlifeclothing.com, promo code JeffWard20, or stop by their brand new store at Domain Northside. Okay? We've got to do something. This is the modern day version of big tobacco. I think that's wrong, and I think you got a better industry to compare yourself to, but that's where we're going. So here we go. Now, there's an answer to all this. This is, just let this sink in, what she's saying to us. This is the whistleblower. It took me a while to find this. When you don't sleep, this is what you do. But I found this to be this moment of clarity. I should point out, and I'm not picking on her, she was co-founder of a dating app. I just want to bring this up, and I am by no means disqualified as many of you to talk about algorithms. Not at all. Spreadsheets okay, but algorithms not so much. So I'm just summarizing here. But I'm fairly certain that she created and launched a product, a hugely successful dating app that does the exact same thing. It gives you exactly what you want. That's what her dating app does and did and brilliantly did it. And a lot of people got rich and a lot of people met, I don't know, their future girlfriend or boyfriend. Or one night stand or whatever. A lot of people used that brilliant app and got back the searches exactly what it wanted. Now we're pissed about it. See, we're not mad. I don't think we can be mad at the algorithms because the algorithms are what are making people like her rich. Is what's changed the economy we live in today. You smart people that have toyed with algorithms to fast track how consumers get exactly what they want. You're the rich people on this planet. You are the winners. You are driving this economy. There are cranes all over Austin, Texas, because people have done exactly what she did, and that is create something that gives the consumer exactly what it wants. And now we're mad about it. We're not mad about it. We're mad about the 25%. That's what screwed this up. She came from a world, invented a world of giving a dater, a person, exactly what they want. So here she summarizes this. Now look out where we're going.
Facebook has done experiments where they take brand new accounts. So Facebook has said before, you're complaining about the misinformation you're seeing. It takes two to tango, right? You picked your friends, you picked the topics that you engage with. Don't just blame us, it's on you. So they've taken brand new accounts, so no friends. And all they've done is follow Donald Trump, Melania, Fox News, and like a local news source. And then all they did was click on the first 10 things that Facebook showed them, or if Facebook suggested a group, they joined that group, right? So they're not doing any conscious action here. There's just one tangoing. And within a week, you see QAnon. Within 2 weeks, you see things about white genocide, right? And you can say, how did that happen? Why are these the things that Facebook is choosing to show you? And it's because those things get the highest engagement.
What is engagement-based ranking?
Facebook right now is trying to optimize for what it calls meaningful social interactions. And those are reacts, likes, comments, reshares. Every time when someone takes one of those actions, clicks through a link, that is engagement. And Facebook goes and looks at all the things that you've clicked on, and it makes a model of you. Facebook's own research says publishers know you are more likely to engage with angry content. There is a perfect reverse correlation where the angrier you are, the more traffic leaves Facebook and goes to your publishing site. And so I guarantee you publishers all around the world are looking at those visits from Facebook and saying, if we make more angry content, we'll get more distribution.
Hey, what about those of us that don't want angry content? Isn't it a brilliant concept? I can nerd out all day and get super served. You got to see my feed. It's nothing but nerdy economic stuff. What about me? What's so bad about that? That's fast-tracked my levels of interest. I think it's a great idea. Thank you. Oh, wait. But my neighbor, though, is on Q sites and anti-vaxxers, and he's turned into a nut job. What do we do? Everything, she did a brilliant job. This is a brilliant Harvard-educated person who launched an app that's worth $2 billion. I suspect explaining exactly what she just did. You can type in age level, religion, height, eye color, fitness level. Oh, guess what you're going to get back? Exactly that. So now we got it back exactly. Oh, no, most of us are fine. Those people aren't so fine, and now they're causing trouble. What do we do? So now how do we fix it? Right? The nut job who she said is super serving himself and herself QAnon searches gets more nut job QAnon searches. Yes. And they're super served and super served and super served. And then that nut job climbs up to the side of a building and we are freaked out about it. Now we got to legislate it. So I don't think cigarettes, all right, we don't have an algorithm problem, or do we? I have no solutions here. I'm just offering up a summary because I'm hearing a lot of talk and I have heard it for some time. But I keep coming back to something she just summarized so well, knowing that she came from an industry that did exactly what Facebook does. They just do it bigger. Here's what I'm hearing. We got a stupid problem. We got a crazy problem. We don't have an algorithm problem. Right? We got a company that's hugely successful at super serving crazy people because crazy people want to be super served. Some of us aren't so crazy. Some of us like to read weird stuff, but you know what we don't do? We don't punch school board members. We're not anti-vaxxers. We don't climb up the sides of buildings with rebel flags. Leave us the hell alone. Some people can have 2 glasses of wine. Some people have to have 9 glasses. Some people can drink 2 beers. Some people drink 40 beers. What do you want to do about it? I'm not a tech person by any stretch, but I think this summary is you want to legislate the limit and the balance. This isn't the cigarette industry we're now comparing this to. I think this is the alcohol industry we're now comparing this to. That's the way I take it. So that's where we are now. That's what I think. I think we're not talking about getting rid of the product. That would be a stupid thing to do, and we would wreck our economy, and all the cranes that are all over this town would be unnecessary. So we don't want to stop the algorithms. We don't want to stop the brilliance, the modern day brilliance of Zuckerberg and gang and her and everybody else that's all over this city pitching in coffee shops right now algorithms to give people what they want. That's brilliant. That's the idea economy. That's why that market is humming. So what do we want to do about it? Limits. That's what you're saying. I mean, whatever these pinheads do on the Senate committee, sounds to me like they're advocating limits. They're not advocating getting rid of the product itself. I think what we're saying is we have to advocate limits. What you're not going to like, and I'm not going to like, and most normal people who don't tear things up and punch people in the face, what we don't want is ripping my level of interest away from me, ripping my bottle of wine from me because that buffoon over there drank 12 bottles. That's where we are. Correct? I keep hearing it. We're at the algorithm version of the alcohol business. How do our legislators, having heard everything this very decent, sensible, smart person has said, in the hands of a goon, that misinformation is bad news. In the hands of a person who can delete and move on, it's not bad news. The 2 glasses of wine is great. 30 glasses of wine, not so great. What do you want to do? So I guess if we're going to use the Jeff analogy here, you're going to have to put limits on it. You're going to have to cap it. And I suspect, and I don't know how this day ends without somebody figuring this out that's smarter at this than me. At the end of the day, I think what you're saying is you got a 2-drink minimum. Or no, minimum. That'd be cool. 2-drink maximum. You got an alcohol level you can't exceed. You got a drink level you can't exceed. We got to put limitations on the product itself because we've got to limit your use. We've got to limit everybody's use because of those that abuse. What other solution do you have? I have not heard anybody with any idea except this is the same thing as cigarettes. It's not the same thing as cigarettes. It's the same as alcohol. So for every QAnon search, for every anti-vaxxer search, for every ivermectin search, I guess by law now we got to make sure that you get a Moderna test result search or for every Klan search, we got to come up with something else that offsets that. So we got to have this balancing now. We have to have limits. We have to have user limits. That's where I think we have to go on this. I'm not advocating it. I'm just filling in the blanks of what nobody else seems to want to say. You want to fix this, then you got to fix the user. Or the 25% that are freaking the rest of us out. The ICU units were filled up because of the 25% she's talking about. How do you want to fix them? How do you want to regulate and legislate the industry of how people search so that you feel comfortable your neighbor, your nutcase neighbor, your crazy uncle isn't doing anything but getting super served a bunch of nut job traffic that makes him crazier than he already is?
From the Hot Pie Media Studios in Austin, Texas, it's The Jeff Ward Show. Listen at jeffwardshow.com.